I drove the Aston Martin carefully, weaving through the streets of Thurso. The CID man had said it was urgent, but refused to discuss it over the phone. I thought back on my day. Spent the morning doing touch and goes on the low deck, even 2 of them in a driving rain. The X-35 was an excellent aircraft, and I felt very comfortable in the pilot's seat. There were 3 of them aboard, and I hoped that I would get another day of training before being recalled to London. I still marveled at low deck of the HMS Menzies. The Menzies landing deck was 500 feet long. The trimaran submersible hull allowed for 2 landing decks, as well as the center catapult ski slope. This carrier had been a pencil drawing conceived by Major Boothroyd back in the 80s. Sir Miles had gotten approval for it from Mrs. Thatcher, and then the lid went on. It had been built and developed in total secrecy in a hidden cove of Hoy. It was named after former MI6 Chief Stuart Graham Menzies, the newest 21st century Titan-class aircraft carrier in the Royal Navy, but with a separate mission. Then, it was first completed in 1999, but with the stealth technology provided by Carver Media. Yes, provided was the right word. It had gone through another refit. It was, after all, an offensive craft, built to stealthily intrude into any theater and bring a quick, striking capability with it. Militarily, it served NATO, but primarily, it served the British Ministry of Defence in its never-ending war with terrorists. I turned the corner and parked the Aston on the left side of the street. Over there on the right side was a coffee shop. It was a chain shop, well known throughout the world. A constable was standing at attention outside, and his Ford Bronco stood parked against the curb with its small red light flashing. I crossed the street and flashed a small MI6 badge at the constable, who nodded and stepped aside. Inside the small shop, several men, as well as a shop clerk who seemed to be crying. She was a very pretty girl, but she was barely more than that. The walls of the shop were covered with bookshelves. The small tables, intended to hold coffee and inspire conversation, were scattered about, and some of them were turned over. One of the officers broke from the group surrounding the clerk and came over to speak with me.
I am Lieutenant McFarlane. Are you Commander Bond?
I nodded.
Looks mostly like a kidnapping. 2 thugs busted in here, took the old man and the girl by surprise, ransacked the register for about £12.8, then wheeled the old man out and disappeared. No description of the thugs since they knocked her glasses off, but we've got the old man's picture.
So what's so important that you have to interrupt my supper, Lieutenant?
The girl has a message for you from the thugs. Wouldn't tell me, only to Commander Bond. You were in the city, so we rung you up.
I followed the officer to the girl sitting on the chair.
Here, miss, this is Commander Bond.
Oh!
She sniffled. She sat up straight in the chair and tried to compose herself.
Poor Ernie, why did they take him?
She sobbed. I knelt to look into the young girl's eyes. Here now, what's all this? You've got a message for me? I smiled, and it got through to her somehow. She straightened.
Ernie was our volunteer. He was disabled. Had to use that wheelchair everywhere he went. He read books to the children, used to scare them to death. Stephen King, R.L. Strine, Marx, you know that horror genre. The kids just couldn't get enough. Well, anyway, these 2 men came in tonight and took Ernie. I just don't understand it.
She wept again.
Come here, Tracy. She's Ernie's cat, you know.
The girl picked up the white Persian and put it in the counter. A small car drew up outside and a man rushed into the shop.
Where is Commander Bond?
I stood up and nodded. The short man came over and spoke in a very small voice.
Commander, I'm to inform you that HMS Menzies is missing. Its transponder is off and it's not at its last reported position, nor has it been ordered to put to sea. It may have submerged, but not under orders, and if it's moving, it's gone quiet. You are to report to London soon as.
A dark chill passed through me. Where is that photo? The CID man handed the photo to me. The photo showed several shop people standing around a man in a wheelchair. What's this man's name? I barked at the girl. It startled her, and she stopped crying long enough to blurt out,
Ernie. Ernie Bluefield.
God help us, I said, then asked, what was the message?
The large fellow spoke very slowly so that I wouldn't get it wrong. Somewhere in the night, Spectre is waiting.
The Titan class sails upon the sea, a secret ship that's wild and free. James trains on the Q-35. He catapults it from the realm. The Titan class is HMS Menzies. Blofeld hijacks the ship on the seas, submerges this Titan, a secret blown. James must find it where is unknown. Blofeld steals the HMS Menzies, sends a message, simply baiting. Somewhere in this dark night, for him, Spectre is awaiting. Silence in the water, no ping is won. No one knows where it's gone. Stealthy moves and cunning ways. In the deep, the Titan class stays. Gadgets ready for this game. The girl was told James' name. Risk it all on tight, roll dice. Battlefields are cold as ice. Blofeld steals the HMS Menzies, sends a message, simply baiting. Somewhere in this dark night, for him, Spectre is awaiting. Gadgets ready for this game. The girl was told James' name. Risk it all on tight, roll dice. Battlefields are cold as ice. Blofeld steals the HMS Menzies, sends a message, simply baiting. Somewhere in this dark night, for him, Spectre is awaiting. Spectre is awaiting. Spectre is waiting.